He did a big boy thing on the 4th of October. So it wasn't yesterday, the day before yesterday. Ha ha ha. He spoke before the press, talking about foreign policy, this election, what's happening in the Middle East. Did you think he hit a home run homer? I'm so sorry. No, he didn't. I'm actually impressed that he went out there. Does this 5-minute and 30-second video install confidence? No, it does not. No, it doesn't. But if any of you are concerned that we might get that sequel we've all been dreading for, World War III, this could be it, because nothing's going to fundamentally change as the war continues to drag on. Already, we're seeing intense military action happening in Lebanon. Obviously, there's a horrific ongoing genocide in Gaza. What could go wrong? Say it with me, folks. What could possibly go wrong? Shout out to Case Study QB. Thank you for this video segment. He's wrongly being censored, and that's even before Elon Musk took over X.
Could you clarify some of your comments yesterday with regard to strikes on Iranian oil facilities? What did you mean by them, given some of the reactions we're seeing in the market?
Well, look, the Israelis have not concluded what they're going to do in terms of a strike. That's under discussion. I think if I were in their shoes, I'd be thinking about other alternatives than striking oil fields.
Good vision. Thank you, Kareem. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for being here. This week, Senator Chris Murphy said it's certainly a possibility that the Israeli government is not going to sign any diplomatic agreement prior to the election, which is what you have been calling for so long, potentially to try to influence the result. Do you agree? Do you have any worry?
Oh, heaven forbid a foreign government gets involved in our elections. If it's Russia or China, everybody, oh no, oh no. If it's Israel, let them be. Hey, don't we interfere with other people's elections too? No, we don't, said the CIA in the background, hiding behind a curtain. Election integrity in the United States. What is that? What is that? You know, speaking of election integrity, before we play the rest of the video, there's something I want to share with all of you beautiful, outstanding, lovely people, because we have a serious situation when it comes down to free speech, because it's always been like this. The risk of our media, of what's happening to us, and in regards to how we vote for candidates, and so much more. So I just want to share this with all of you, and it still remains one of our higher viewed videos. I think it's only fair that we do talk about it, but just so you guys see it, this was a video that we did many moons ago. Whistleblower exposes voting machine fraud. It has about 54,000 views on it, and this was done in the early days of 2020. But election integrity, do we have it here in the United States? Type 1 for yes, Kit, we do. And type 2, what is that? What are you talking about? Integrity? Have you taken your brain medicine yet? You might have secondhand dementia, because I don't know what you're talking about. I wonder how many 2s will be in the chat.
That Netanyahu may be trying to influence the election, and that's why he has not agreed to a diplomatic solution?
No administration has helped Israel more than I have. None.
Oh, yeah, you helped them all right. You were like this. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? First aid workers being popped at, men, women, children, blown up, starved. First aid workers, all of that, journalists, reporters. And now the war is going into Lebanon, Syria, and Iran's shooting back at Israel. Israel's shooting back at Iran. Lebanon's shooting at Israel. Israel's shooting at Lebanon. Mass hysteria. Yeah, Joe Biden, you've definitely done a lot. A lot of nothing. But it's been helping Piers Morgan, though. Boy, has he been milking that conflict. Do bloody well condemn Hamas. Do you condemn Hamas?
None. None. And I think Bibi should remember that. And whether he's trying to influence the election or not, I don't know, but I'm not counting on that.
You've said many times recently that you want to speak to him, that you plan
No, I
to.
didn't say plan to. I didn't say I wanted to.
You don't want to?
No, I didn't say that. You're making it sound like I'm seeking and then speaking. I'm assuming when they make the judgment of how they're going to respond, we will then have a discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for being here. What are you advising
Thank you, Mr. President, for being here. Where am I?
the Israelis to do in terms of their retaliation to Iran? And at this point, you still haven't spoken to Netanyahu. Is it fair to say that you have little personal influence over what he decides to do?
No, look, our teams are in contact 12 hours a day. They're constantly in contact. I've already had my presidential daily brief. We've already had interface between our military, the diplomats. It's in constant contact. They are trying to figure out, and it's high holidays as well. They're not going to make a decision immediately. And so we're going to wait to see when they want to talk.
But over the past few months, they've consistently defied your administration's own advice. So do you believe that the Israelis...
That's actually kind of funny. You know, Biden saying, yeah, we have total control. Meanwhile, Israel just like, yeah, we don't hear you, buddy. We don't hear you at all. There's no control. And there's been many reports coming out where Biden is upset that he's being ignored. Last I checked, Biden, you are the president of the United States. Last I checked, the United States is a global superpower, but oh, wait. Every politician in Washington, D.C. has an AIPAC babysitter.
are going to listen to the advice you're giving them?
What I know is the plan that I put together.
Oh, man, that took him a while to think. Hold on.
Plan that I put together received the support of the UN.
I counted 8 seconds.
What I know is the plan that I put together
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
received
7,
the
8.
support of the UN Security Council.
8 seconds.
The vast majority of our allies around the world as a way to bring this to an end. Look, the Israelis have every right to respond to the vicious attacks.
Okay, well, what are people in Gaza, though? I mean, look, all of Gaza has been destroyed. It's a moonscape. There are no schools. There are no universities. There are no churches. I know there were churches there in Gaza. There are no mosques, no residential homes or apartments, no community centers, no refugee centers, no hospitals. I mean, come on. Like, I think the damage has been done. There's probably hundreds of thousands of dead men, women, and children. We may not know the full number. It's not 44,000, though. It's much higher than that.
On them, not just from the Iranians, but from everyone from Hezbollah to Houthis. Anyway, and but the fact is that they have to be very much more careful about dealing with civilian casualties.
So how should they respond? You expressed concerns about attacks on Iranian oil facilities. How should they respond?
That's between me and them.
All right, we got him. Hi, Mr. President.
I like how the press secretary is like, okay, come on, we got to move on. Come on. The brain medicine only works for a certain amount of time.
Are you considering imposing sanctions on Iran, and would you include oil in those sanctions?
That's under consideration right now, the whole thing. I'm not going to discuss that at all.
And just on your comments yesterday on the port strike, you said, by the grace of God, it's going to hold. Is there any reason you think that this
Well, there's more to
temporary
do. A
suspension?
month from now, there's more to do in terms of everything from the whole notion of mechanization of the ports and the like. There's more to resolve.
You know what that means? Hey, listen, okay, obviously the Port Authority strike is over, but automation, AI will be part of it. You only can postpone it for so long. And like I said, my biggest fear one day is walking down the street, minding my own business. And instead of seeing a police car, I'm going to see an Ed 209 at the corner. I hope I leave a beautiful corpse.
Good, Daniel.
Thanks, Green. Thank you, Mr. President. Last night you said that there's still a lot to do to avoid an all-out war in the Middle East. I mean, firstly, aren't we pretty close to that definition already? And secondly, what can you really do to stop that happening?
There's a lot we are doing. The main thing we can do is try to rally the rest of the world and our allies into participating like the French are in Lebanon and other places.
Wait a minute. You're rallying the rest of... Hey, I didn't get the memo. Did anybody see that? Has Israel stopped its action towards Lebanon or Iran or Syria now? Hello? Hello? And anybody know? Yeah, probably not. No.
To tamp this down. And but when you have proxies as irrational as Hezbollah and the Houthis, and it's a hard thing to determine.
Got to lose.
I gotta go, kid.
I know.
I gotta go, kid. Say that again.
A hard thing to determine.
Got to lose.
I gotta go, kid.
I know.
Yeah, because he's realizing the brain is gonna be liquefied. I gotta go, kid. Gotta go before I become bleh. Hey, who do you think's more in physical shape? Joe Biden or Jimmy Carter? And look, I'm not talking about that Jimmy Carter story because the way that he was rolled out like that, it's downright insulting. And even this, of our own current sitting president, it's very clear he's on the mental decline. This is embarrassing. This is humiliating. We're a global superpower. And this is the best we can do. This should show you that nobody's running the show. Who's really the president right now? Is anybody really in charge of the ship? Because I don't think this guy is.
No, I know.
I said I'd take a couple questions.
All right, you're the last.
I think she's increasing her credibility.
Is that acceptable to you in terms of Israel's response? How long are you okay with Israel bombing Lebanon? What is acceptable to you?
All right, guys, that's it.
What's acceptable to you? Hey, can he answer the question? I mean, is it going to be an ongoing forever war? Hello?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
President Joe Biden doing something we have never seen him do before.
Wow. Yes. Act like a stiff meat puppet. You keep on doing that great work, BSDNC.
Without any warning, he walked into the White House press briefing.
Without any warning, I'm pretty sure the press secretary was like, yo, who was the guy watching him? Who was the guy watching him? Watch it be like a Secret Service agent. Like, I swear, I just dozed off for like 1 second. I didn't expect old man Biden to go on a Mr. Magoo adventure. I wonder how many times it's happened where Biden's wandered off and like everyone's going like, hey, where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Room and took questions after taking what was a bit of a victory lap on the economy. We know that privately he has felt that he wasn't getting enough credit or.
Okay, hold on. Victory lap for the economy. You know I'm going to ask this Coca-Cola classic question. How's Bidenomics and the Biden economy treating you? Tell us. Type 1-4. It's doing great, kid. 3 meals a day, roof over my head, bills be paid, tank full of gas. I'm going on vacation, saving up for my kids' college education. Man, it's great. Bidenomics. Woo! Type 2. Jesus Christ, not that question again. I hate that question. I don't know how I'm going to make it past tomorrow, man. Bidenomics doing great. Biden doing a victory lap. I didn't get the memo. And I'm pretty sure none of you got that memo either. I wonder how many twos are going to show up in the chat. I wonder. But see, that's another fake attempt by the Democrats to once again try and build up hype around Joe Biden and the hype around Kamala Harris. How's the economy treating you? Well, it's not good. That's the #1 issue. But as for the war that's happening in the Middle East, this administration is not going to do a ceasefire. This administration is not going to do any kind of diplomatic talks. This war will go on into the next year of 2025, as we have reported and talked about way early on, which were words that came out of Netanyahu's own mouth. This war is going to go on until 2025. It's not just Gaza. It's Lebanon, Syria, Iran. What's next? Who's next? And no matter who sits in the White House, nothing will change.
It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Whether or not in Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
I don't mean to sound alarmist, but most of what they let you read is garbage. Most of it's designed to warp our minds until subconsciously you find you'll take the time to lick their boots free of grime and wipe their minds free of tarnish. Oil is the centerpiece, a body count of millions is the garnish. So how's it feel to know we funded every carcass? That every year our taxes pay for carpet bombing Gaza under shroud of darkness? Or that we spend enough a year to house and feed each homeless person in the streets on turning families in apartment buildings in the Middle East to bloody craters full of charred garments? And our media is silent at best. At worst, they can find it in themselves to call war crimes clashes and label children burned to ashes terrorists who played a stupid game and reaped the harvest. And every time we try to paint the truth, the news sends their slugs to suck off all the varnish and distort it into something harmless. See, the media will hang you by your feet and keep you half asleep. So yes, I'm here to set you free, but freedom won't be sweet because you'll fall 1,000 feet when I come cut you out your harness. They say those who dream the deepest fall the farthest. They also say that home is where the heart is. But if home for you is Gaza, Netanyahu's got you painted as a target. Perhaps it's not the impact, but it's what you see when falling that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the sound of all those children crying out in those apartments that will hit the hardest. Maybe all those little bodies scattered in the dirt will hit the hardest. Maybe seeing human lives assigned such little worth will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that you're paying for the darkest of atrocities committed on this earth that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that we give 10 million a day to oppressors who possess the kind of Medicare you'll die in debt before you see that's gonna hit the hardest. Maybe then you'll see you've always had more in common with the commoners whose slaughter we fund every day in Gaza than our senators and bosses. Maybe then you'll see our country never had a conscience. Maybe then the retroactive guilt will make you nauseous. Maybe what hits harder than the impact is the act of being conscious, of knowing your complicity and helplessness to try and stop the bloody deeds of Congress. And that no matter who's in office, America preserves its foreign interests by whatever means its greed demands, however monstrous. You see, we'll always need a place to drain our contras. And Biden's got a backup plan should harm befall the Holy Land. Wipe it off the map, he'll draw it back on with an iron hand. He demands an Israel or reasonable effigy to exercise democracy and colonize the Middle East. Regardless of the human cost of phosphorus atrocities, bought and paid with money they rerouted out the budget for the non-essential things like ever making Flint's water clean. So maybe what hits hardest is the day you see this country for its actual priorities. And never more no honest peace attempting sleep. Maybe then you'll look at politicians making speeches like a blood-encrusted beast espousing destiny to empty seats and fellow leeches. As the gauntlet of democracy extends its brutal reach, like a giant wave of trash come to crash on foreign beaches. Maybe build a base, throw a flag down and heavily pollute the region. Rape your ecosystems, gut your fauna and congratulate you on your new allegiance. Oops, we mean alliance. This is something mutual unless you're non-compliant. We stole something crucial on which you can be reliant. So maybe what hits hardest is the centrist saying both sides need to stop the violence. And those would be the very same centrists saying we should all accept police brutality, who hem and haw and clutch their fucking pearls and spend their time condemning riots. But very soon will come the day the centrists all get censored like the rest of us, and pious as they'll try to be, they won't stay quiet. but they'll just end up shouting in the void that they were also quick to render us subscribers. And it will be too late to light the fires. So far away tonight, they burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Which is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. And call it foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. Far away tonight, they burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Call it foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600 higher.